Welcome to Cordkillers. The world of entertainment is turned upside down, and we are just trying to find out how to watch what we want, when we want, wherever we want. I'm Tom Merritt. Brian, where's the good stuff?
Oh my goodness, it's right on the other side of the studio. Tom, we're so close. We could high five each other.
I could actually hold on. I'm going to prove it.
Oh no. Oh, okay. All right. He's coming. It's coming. Oh, he didn't high five me. Apparently, he was unable to high five me. Oh! All right. Wait, I guess that's our go time to jump in.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Supply run.
So today on Supply Run, well, I want to talk about this article from Janko Retkers that was on The Verge called, "Is Apple TV the New HBO?" Or as I call it, is Janko trying to steal Brian's lines? Because we've been asking that question ourselves. So let's look at his points, Brian.
Yes.
And see what we think of Janko. Janko has been doing this for a long time. He's very good at it. So these are very good points. But let's see how they compare to what we think. Apple TV has the critical hits these days. Severance, Pachinko, Silo, Ted Lasso. Need I go on?
Well, yes. First of all, 100% true. Indisputable. And they are beloved media darlings. And I don't want to jump ahead, but the significant part is not just the fact that they are beloved critical hits, but they are also obscure critical hits. It is astonishing how often I have to explain what pluribus is or where that is and so on, which is a very HBO kind of vibe.
Definitely, I get the 90s HBO response of like, oh, have you seen, was it Gary Shandling show HBO actually? Was it?
It's Gary Shandling show was Showtime, but Larry Sanders show was HBO.
Have you seen Larry Sanders show? No, I heard it's really good. I don't get HBO.
Yep.
Have you seen Ted Lasso? No, I heard it's really good. I don't get Apple TV.
Yep.
Now, granted, it's easier to get Apple TV than it was to get HBO because I don't have to call the cable company. But still, people are like, yeah, I'd have to pay extra for that. I don't do that. Low ratings. HBO famous for not getting ratings, just getting subscribers, and Apple does not register in the top 10 platforms on Nielsen's The Gauge.
And on top of that, Apple, from the very beginning, may we remind you that before they called their shot, before they started cranking out the all-star beloved critical darlings, they essentially are like, we're just tinkering around.
Yeah.
It's free if you have a Mac. Just, buy lots of Apple stuff.
Buy an iPhone, buy a Mac, buy an Apple TV. We don't care. Buy something. And then Apple TV is yours. Now, granted, they don't give it away like they used to. So they have always wanted to pivot to services. I'm not sure how true that is anymore, but services are a big revenue generator and they have been growing every quarter for them. So they do want to make some money off of it. But even then, I feel like Apple TV is a way to get people into paying for Apple One, which is their overriding subscription that bundles in Apple TV, Apple Music, which is very popular, iCloud, which gives you a little more space for backups and that sort of thing. So yeah, it continues to be a loss leader in that respect. But they do make money of a sort off of it. They don't care if it's high ratings. The Antenna has found that big scripted hits anchor heavy viewership on Apple TV. For Netflix, heavy viewers spread across the slate, signaling a breadth of engagement rather than concentration. So in other words, if you're an Apple TV subscriber, you're likely watching the same 3 shows as all the Apple TV subscribers, and Apple TV has a bunch of other shows that don't get a lot of viewership. Whereas Netflix, everybody's watching a lot of different stuff. So if you view a lot of Netflix, you may not be watching the same thing as another heavy viewer of Netflix.
Yes, and I feel like is now a good time to bring in the fact that the classic line 15 years ago that we heard was Netflix set out to be the HBO.
HBO, before
right?
HBO becomes us, right?
And then meanwhile, Netflix is so not HBO. Netflix is it's literally daytime television. It's Ricky Lake instead of Prestige.
All the parts of television except for HBO, right? It's primetime broadcast television in a lot of ways. It's movie of the week in a lot of ways. It's daytime television, it's cartoons, it's kids shows, but it's doesn't have a whole lot of HBOs. The Stranger Things probably is the exception that proves the rule there.
Yeah. Do you think, Tom, and I know we're taking a bit of a side jag here to gossip about Netflix. Do you think it was an intentional decision to give up on Prestige? And if so, this is my wild conspiracy theory. Could it be that the fall from grace associated with Kevin Spacey tarnished House of Cards and they realized that they had a brittle foundation, whereas now they've gone full populist? Whatever your little pocket is, they got something to turn on and leave on.
Yeah, I'll be honest. My view on the idea of Netflix being prestige was always, that's the thing Netflix didn't mind people thinking about it because it couldn't hurt. It was never their strategy. Even though they said we want to become HBO before HBO becomes us, that was a thing to throw out to the populace to get people talking about Netflix and thinking about Netflix's quality. I think Netflix has always been analytics driven and always went for producing the things that were likely to appeal to the subscribers, which meant coming up with a diverse offering of products, which is why they went overseas and found other, dramas from various markets to put on. I don't think they ever internally really said, well, we want to become HBO. I think they always wanted to be as broadly appealing as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess the moment you said I never believed them, I was like, oh, that's right. Because literally, how can you tell it's opposite days? Because Netflix is talking.
Yeah. So this idea of big scripted hits being the thing that anchors your viewership, HBO tried on streaming, right? They tried to just be HBO, HBO Go, HBO Now. Then they merged with Discovery and muddied the waters with Max and Discovery content to where they felt like they were a little more like Netflix. Like, yes, we have the prestige programming, but we also have House Hunters. And we also have Hacks, which is a great show, but it's a Max show, not an HBO show. Disney tried it with FX on Hulu to say, well, we have a prestige brand. It's the FX shows, because the FX shows are very highly regarded as well. And they ended up just phasing that out. And now it's just an FX show. It's not FX on Hulu. And in fact, they don't even make a big deal about it being an FX show. They just say, hey, this is our brand new show. It's available on Hulu. And increasingly saying, and Disney Plus, because we're going to get rid of Hulu eventually.
So the next question is, okay, if they are being HBO of streaming.
Okay, so we think Apple TV is being the HBO of streaming then. Okay.
I do. Well, or let me put it this way. If we're going to do a 1-for-1 1990s cable television, Apple, I can think of nobody as close to Apple filling that niche.
Yeah.
Can you?
So exactly. HBO tried it and isn't that anymore. Disney tried it. It is not that anymore. Apple is, I guess Amazon is the other one to consider, but it is also trying to be live sports and music and other things. So it really is, Apple is the only one that's like, our only original programming is prestige television. Do you think that can work for Apple TV?
I believe it cannot work for anyone else but Apple. Apple is in that strange, wonderful superposition like HBO, where they are defined by not being everybody else. It's not TV, it's HBO. Apple TV kind of gets to say, is there a tagline for Apple TV? It's you bought Apple, didn't you?
Yeah, because Apple, as we said, Apple makes money off of its devices and its services. It does not have an ad-supported tier, which has become the thing you do if you want to increase your revenue, is to say, oh, wait, if someone's paying us $20 a month, we can only keep them from canceling. We can never make more money off of them. The only way we continue to make more money is to add subscribers and retain the ones we have. But if we do advertising, we can actually make more money by getting them to watch more things, which is a very Netflixy thing, to have lots of different things that you might be interested in watching. And Apple is not concerned with that. They're not concerned with, it's not that they're not concerned with making money. They're not concerned with maximizing the monetary return of Apple TV. So what they are concerned with is getting to use Apple services and Apple devices And therefore, they really would like you to be the platform in which you watch all your TV. And the Apple TV stuff is just the cherry on top of the cake to say, and if you use Apple TV to get all your shows, you'll get Ted Lasso, you'll get MLS, you'll get Major League Baseball, because they do some live sports, right? So I don't think it's that Apple just wants to be HBO, because that's last year's game, right? You don't win by being HBO. HBO was, in a world of cable, how do we make more money? We provide you higher quality stuff that you'll be willing to pay extra on top of your already expensive cable bill for. Apple is saying, we would like to be the platform. So when you go to Apple TV's homepage, you're going to see Amazon stuff. You're going to see Disney stuff. You're going to see anybody that works with Apple, except Netflix, because Netflix doesn't like to share data with them. And that's because Apple says, we want you to make this device that you're using the device you use to manage your television watching, whether it's an Apple TV, a phone, a laptop, or whatever. And the perk is that you get the Ted Lasso and everything else.
So let me throw this out there, and maybe this seems like nonsense to you, but of all of the providers, I know of no company in the technology space that has worked harder and gotten more rewards out of crafting a halo of coolness than Apple. And so in that regard, like, if Apple is quite simply playing the just make sure whatever it is, everybody needs to be thrilled to be supporting and sporting gear that promotes Apple. I mean, it's an elevated prestige brand. I don't know if I'm finding the right words for it. But the point is, Apple's cool, and they'll spend a gazillion dollars, because remember, they got a fair bit of cash to maintain their image of being that cool.
Yeah, I think that is a huge part of why they are leaning into the prestige stuff. It's a natural strategy, but you're right. Apple says when you buy an iPhone, it should be the best designed iPhone ever. When you buy a laptop, it should be the best designed laptop ever. When you watch a TV show, it should be the best designed TV show ever.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm saying is if Netflix bothers to over deliver on how good it is of whatever one piece of product, let's say the next prestige thing is on Netflix. That doesn't elevate K-pop Demon Hunters 7 or whatever. There's no way to make more money off of it.
Yeah.
Amazon, there's no one piece of art that can elevate your shipping expenses at this logistics company. Whereas Apple is the one outlier where simply by virtue of being excellent, you can sell more laptops. You can sell more TVs.
Yeah, and there's an argument to be had about whether the excellence has suffered at Apple. In fact, Mark Gurman has a Bloomberg post from Sunday talking about the design team being in trouble at Apple and all of that. But the fact is, even at its worst, Apple is still better at design than most other companies. So I think that's a good point. The other part of this is we talked last week about Fox buying Roku as a way for them to get into the platform game, because, as I kept putting it, it's better to sell the pickaxes to the gold miners than to try to find a gold mine. That at least is safer and more consistent. Apple is doing that. Apple's been doing that from the beginning. And I think that's the other thing that Netflix may be making a mistake on, is not making any steps towards that. I have not yet heard them say, we will never be a platform to include other services. So I can't guarantee that they will do it yet, but I keep listening for that. And remember, they did add the ability to get a French live television network to Netflix.
Yeah.
And they've been tinkering around with that as a platform aggregator. So I would expect them to see. I would expect to see Netflix play around with that some more.
Okay. So what might that look like if everybody plays that game? Then I mean, Hulu already. Well,
I think what you end up with is 2 or 3 platforms that compete. The way you have Android and iOS, right? Windows and Mac OS. You would have Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku. Those are, 3 of the biggest platforms for managing all of your subscriptions right now. And then maybe Netflix is the Apple in this situation, right? Where Android and iOS, it's like, well, when you're in the Apple ecosystem, you stay in the Apple ecosystem and you can't get iMessages elsewhere, right? A lot of apps you can only get on iOS, not on Android. I feel like Netflix would do that. They would be like, no, we're going to be the place where you can exclusively get services that you cannot get on Amazon, Roku, and Apple.
Yeah, boy, there's something about humans' ability to stomach 2, 3, 4 choices, and after that, we get frustrated.
And once you get to 4, it starts to become an issue. And we'll see if we can continue to support Roku, Amazon, and Apple, because we also have Google. We also have YouTube in there trying to be the platform as well. I didn't mention them for the simplicity of my argument, but they are a very
Hold on.
legitimate contender.
Well, what an interesting counterpoint, because YouTube, again, it's almost as though they don't want to be in the conversation, because what they are is so big. It's like air. It's like if we're talking about smells of different, do you like this smell? Do you like that smell? You know who doesn't want to be in the conversation? Oxygen. They're all like, they're just like, well, I don't know. We're just around.
But YouTube, you take your YouTube premium subscription and add the NBA to it. You can add, I think, MGM Plus, which is an Amazon thing, to it. Like, you can add services to it. It does feel very googly, though, that it has been a while since we heard news about Google expanding that ability, right? Like, they may be getting bored of that and deciding, maybe that's not the way we want to go.
Yeah.
Well, the way you want to go is to support us at patreon.com/Cordkillers, right, Brian?
Well, I've been hearing about this. Yeah. It's a Patreon?
It's a Patreon, yes.
And what's it good for?
Well,
can I eat it?
It's good for getting an ad-free feed of Cordkillers.
Oh, that's good. I don't like ads.
Yeah. It's good for getting the full experience before everybody else.
Oh my God, I love jumping the line.
Early access. It's also good for being a fly on the wall when we do After Talk and talk about the real business of Cordkillers.
Oh my gosh, getting to see my favorite commenters commenting behind this. What if you think Tom and Brian are wild on the show? Just wait till we give them the cameras.
Yeah, Brian made a joke about my mom last week on After Talk.
That's
you can
true.
Only hear on After Talk.
We have a follow-up on that. That's true.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up only on After Talk.
That's right.
Folks, listen. If you're not supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/Cordkillers, I wouldn't say you're dead to us, but it's kind of like you're non-existent.
You know what? Okay, there's a state between life and death where everything you do and say still works. It's just that you have to say it twice. Yeah, whatever you say to us, you're like, I'm sorry, what? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
See, it's just harder to see you. You're not really here.
It's like you're in a mist.
Yeah. Get out of that mist.
Yeah, you step out of the mist, as they say.
And into our hearts.
Get out of my dreams.
Get into our patreon.com/Cordkillers.
And now the search party. So, Brian.
Yes.
Do you remember us talking about MGM developing a biopic about Sam Altman, sort of based upon those very dramatic events when he got tossed out as CEO briefly over a weekend and then brought back? And it was all very dramatic and the kind of thing you're like, well, somebody's going to make a movie about this. And then it turned out MGM is going to make the movie about it.
Yeah. And all of that was really interesting, especially, since Amazon provides a lot of the compute for these players in the game as it's happening.
Yeah, right. Amazon owns AWS, a cloud behemoth that provides a lot of the backbone for companies like OpenAI. Well, good news, the movie is almost finished.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's called Artificial. Yeah, you kind of like that?
Well, it's a bit of a dig on...
well, it's artificial intelligence, but also like... who's being real in this scenario kind of thing. There is some bad news, though. Mm-hmm. MGM has dropped it.
Oh, dear. Well, I guess it'll never see the light of day. So this is a little bit, we definitely saw for completely different reasons, a thing with The Apprentice. And in the case of the Apprentice movie about Donald Trump, the solution was, I believe they did a Kickstarter to get distribution for it. And so it was able to get released. But in this case, it sounded like it's not so much that this is too hot to handle, so much as it's too cold to hold.
Maybe. The statement was, we believe that Artificial will be better served if it were released by a different studio and are working closely with the filmmaking team to find the film a new home.
Yeah. In other words, it's just like, look, it is a legit bad, weird look for the studio that also provides, that is a player in the game, to be releasing anything that may, to people who pay attention to shareholder interests, look like it's got a take on things.
I love, as you know, Brian, to come up with extremely boring conspiracy theories.
Oh,
Yeah, not everybody can do the crazy ones with like, oh, it's probably because Sam Altman threatened Amazon and they had to draw. Sure, maybe that's it. Here's my extreme boring conspiracy theory.
all right.
Amazon realized that there was something in the movie that they were contractually forbidden from knowing
Oh.
because of their deals with OpenAI.
Oh, that's a
and a
good
lawyer
one,
came in
Tom.
and said, you know, this is great, but Amazon can't be involved. And Amazon's like, crap. Okay. Well,
so I guess
we will do everything we can to find this studio a new home.
Okay, because you're right. Normally, when somebody drops off, they're not excited to ask, "How can I help?"
Yeah.
So that would satisfy the requirements. That would actually have that'd be the rare instance that, for the wrong reasons, Brian was in the right neighborhood.
Yeah. In other words, the lawyer said, well, you can drop that part of the movie and then it's fine. Or you can not release the movie. And maybe MGM made this decision of like, no, that's kind of essential to the storytelling. So let's find a new place.
Yeah.
Because this thing, it stars Andrew Garfield as Sam Altman. It's got Monica Barbaro as Mira Murati, the CTO, who briefly served as interim CEO in that weekend. I don't know if you know Yura Borisov. He plays Ilya Sutskever. So it's a decent cast. It's a budgeted movie. It's not the kind of thing that I think you would take to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where it ends up, because I think that will tell me a little more about whether my extreme boring conspiracy theory is true.
I think it's less boring than you think, because it is something besides somebody was mad. I don't know.
It's more dramatic to think like, Sam Altman was just raging at me on the phone. We can't release this movie versus a lawyer in a meeting going.
But also, we know that's not in Sam Altman's playbook, because he only has 12 things to say.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Peacock has given a series order to the TV adaptation of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which Peacock says, we hope will finally make Brian watch or read Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Man, I've got that vial of crack just right there by the bed. I'm just ready. It's going to be great. I'm just going to open it and then I can be cracked out like everyone else.
Seth MacFarlane's Fuzzy Door is behind the series. Chris Yost, who wrote The Mandalorian, is writing it and executive producing. Dinneman is set as a non-writing co-executive producer, which I think is code for Dinneman going, I don't write screenplays, but I'm happy to help you understand all the characters I created.
Yeah. Well, and that ultimately is kind of the real role, although usually uncredited, like, I don't think I'm talking out of school, but like C. Robert Cargill writes a Doctor Strange movie, and then he's just around on set and then given his take on how things would go. And writers do that all the time.
So yes, Dungeon Crawler Carl, very popular, in my opinion, very good. In decent hands with Seth MacFarlane.
I think so, actually. Yeah.
He's got the right sensibility for this kind of funny take on things. And the logline, if you haven't heard, is that Carl is chasing after his cat in the middle of the night when aliens invade and crush everyone who is inside. So he is saved. His life is saved because he happens to be inside when they crush everything. But the trade-off is everyone who is left alive now has to choose to either stay on the surface living, in this post-apocalyptic world, or head down into the dungeon and be a competitor on a galactic broadcast of Dungeon Crawler World Earth, which is the latest season.
So a little bit of Running Man, a little bit of self-aware video game tropes, right?
Yeah. Also, he's not wearing pants when the apocalypse happens, so he has to be in his underwear, his boxers.
Canonically the entire time?
Yep.
Does that become like a gimmick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, his cat goes with him into the dungeon.
Yeah. Now, I do know that beyond this, I know I've been spoiled, but yeah, there's a lot there.
Go read Dungeon Crawler, Carl. We got a teaser trailer for Shrek 5, bringing back Eddie Murphy as the donkey. It will come out in 1 year. Brian, did you watch the trailer?
I did. It looked, first of all, any trailers for kids' movies get like a negative 30% because you have to dumb everything down for kids.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes really good kids programming will look stupid in the trailer. This one, I thought they did a good enough job of indicating what playground they're going to do. Like always, there's some oblique digs at the Disney Corporation, but I like the idea that, now I fell off on my Shrek watching, but this big city, it looks very... dirty streets, very jokery of their take on the big city.
It's Shrek in the city, basically.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this episode after June 26th, please convert everything I'm about to say into the past tense. Apple TV will or has broadcast the Formula One Austrian Grand Prix for free. No subscription required to watch the entire race weekend, including all the trials and everything, starting on June 26th.
Are you excited? Are you going to dive into any of that?
I do like Formula One, but it is just under the threshold of things I have time to watch.
Well, and there's a fair bit of buy-in. I mean, that's part of what made it work with the Netflix explaining Formula One to us Americans.
Yeah. But I think it's an interesting thing that Apple is doing to say, we'd like you to pay for Apple TV. Let's give you a free teaser of the Austrian Grand Prix. A little goodwill for people who are like, yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't want to have to pay for Apple TV. Okay, I'll try it, see what the coverage is like, and then maybe you convert some subscribers.
Yeah.
And then right before the show, they dropped a new Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. This one's coming out pretty soon, just about a month, on July 31st. And of course, spoiler for previous Spider-Man movies, no one remembers Peter Parker anymore. So that seems to be a fairly important underpinning for the entire story.
Yeah, this is the first Spider-Man trailer that I'm sad I watched. Like, I had already hit peak buy-in, and now I just felt like, well, that's a surprise I won't get now.
Oh, because you hadn't seen the movie where that happens.
No, not that part. I mean, like each of the Spider-Man trailers, I think has been really good at just sketching out the landscape without going into this is a bad guy or this character shows up. I think we had gotten the Punisher before, and then now there are characters, and we find out what powers they flex, and it's like all of a sudden my brain is auto completing, and
you're gonna get Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on then to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
Buried treasure, of course, the segment of the show where we talk about something we've been watching that you might want to add to your to-watch list. Brian, what you got?
Tom, you know what? You hit me. I've got two real quick.
I hit him. I'm so sorry.
One's the last week and one's the this week. I'll start with the this week because it's only 3 minutes long. Have you seen the Saul Goodman stingers that are dropping celebrating America's 250th?
No, I have not.
They're doing stuff that is in universe, and it's Saul Goodman. It has kind of a, this cranky libertarian is kind of digging it.
So they're not trying to promote Better Call Saul.
No.
It's just for funsies?
Yeah. So here, it's like they got Know Your Rights 8 days ago is at 500,000 views. Saul for Democracy is what it is. And then the next one's called Democracy is just 1 day ago.
I love it so much.
Oh, wait, we got an ad
You need
here.
to pay for YouTube Premium, my friend.
Well, I do, but I'm logged in on the wrong account.
You need to log in, my friend.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, he gets in and he gives these thoughtful
They could
little
surprise
things.
and delight us with their awesome new plans for America 2.0. And we'd have time for the important things, like talking to chatbots. Sounds foolproof, I know. But believe it or not, it's been tried before, and it didn't work. Then came the year 1776. It's a funny thing, democracy. When it's working, it's slow and messy, and it leaves both sides a bit dissatisfied. Yet, it's still the greatest form of government this world has ever seen. For the love of Mike, let's not give it up.
I'm Mike. and I approve this message.
So you could tell they're kind of doing an unironic, hey man, let's give it up for America and our rights and stuff.
Yeah.
And to do it with such a cynical depiction
Yeah.
of a bottom-feeding lawyer, but also with enough heart and enough trappings of the rest of the Better Call Saul team. I don't know. It's kind of a love letter, an unironic love letter to America.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool that it's not tied to anything. It's just them doing it.
Yeah, there's 2 of them out. We'll see if anything more is happening. The other thing that I just want to shout out.
Probably is a Blu-ray release or something.
Yeah, maybe, actually. Probably. The special edition
Yeah.
with Jabba the Hutt.
Mike shot first.
The other thing I wanted to shout out is I did something that I ain't never done before. Tom, how long have I talked about how much I wish I could just wave my hands and say, I don't know, what should I watch? And have a robot get it exactly right?
Ever since you were a baby, Brian.
That's right. Well, guess what I did? When I was flying back from Buffalo, New York, we were getting ready to hop on a plane. I was like, oh, I should get something. And I was like, what should I watch? Gave me 3 recommendations. They were all perfect. One I had already seen, Project Hail Mary. Another one, it shouted out for it was a hallucination. It's exactly my fit, but it didn't come out. And the third one was, you should watch Mel Brooks, the 99-year-old man, on HBO Max. And I downloaded it. It was perfect, Tom, because it's the kind of show that I was very, very glad to be watching. I never would have started it. I never would have given it 2 hours for the first episode, but I'm really glad I did. I got all the way caught in. Buddy and I really dug watching it.
And when did that come out?
It's a Judd Apatow thing. It's like 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay, it's recent.
Yeah, the bulk of the reason to watch it is 1/3 of it is behind the scenes stories, and it's a compilation of Mel Brooks over all these decades. And so he'll tell a story and it will intercut perfectly with this decade, this decade, the exact same story. And then they tie it up and they move on. And of course, you get a bunch of goober younger people talking about how much Mel Brooks meant to them.
Stupid 70-year-olds.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like freaking, that's not an exaggeration. Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You were impressed. We all were.
Well, it's a good thing you watched this before next week.
Why?
Because Mel Brooks turns 100 next week.
Oh, good.
So this will just be outdated by then.
Yes, that's true.
They'll need to do a sequel. I watched one of those heartwarming Korean reality shows that are so pleasant to watch. They're just relaxing. They make you feel good about the world.
I'm waiting for the twist.
There's no twist.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. So we think of Korean dramas with like Squid Game, right? Where it's a reality show where everyone dies. The actual Korean reality shows, and there are a lot of Japanese reality shows like this, are just very peaceful. So I watched The Village Barber, which stars Park Bo-gum. He's a big K-drama actor. He, when he was in his mandatory military service, got a certification to become a barber. So the reality show is he moves to a tiny mountain village that does not have its own barber. Everybody has to drive an hour to go to get their haircut, and he opens a barber shop. And
that's it?
And so people stop by. He gets to know all the old ladies in the neighborhood and cuts their hair and styles it and learns their stories. And he makes friends with their grandchildren who love coming over, and they make snacks at the barber shop to feed the kids. And that's the entire series.
Oh, there we go. Here. I was going to look at some of the B-roll here and it ended up playing. But it's good. Yeah, it's great. It's just it's Park Bo-gum, but also a couple other major Korean actors running this barbershop. He does the hair cutting. One of them makes the snacks and everything because they have a little snack bar, and then one of them does nails. And it's just beautifully heartwarming because it's a real town with real people stopping by, and you get to hear their stories of, like some of them are 80 or 90 years old. And of course they're all starstruck because here's this guy from television that's just hanging out with them, taking care of their grandchildren and cutting their hair and everything. It's lovely. It's just a lovely television show. That's adorable.
Yeah. Anyway, it's called The Village Barber. If you want to look for it, I think it's on Viki is the service we watched it on.
Awesome.
All right. If you got something we should be on the lookout for, email us cordkillers@gmail.com. Brian, we've been promoting the class we're going to teach tomorrow for so long. I don't remember what we do now.
You know what we do is we tell people to go to patreon.com/cordkillers. Make sure to be our boss. That. That's right.
So yes, thank you everybody for supporting us. We'll be back to our regular hey, Tom's got a revised Patreon on DTNS and all that stuff next time. Meanwhile, let's scan the horizon.
Send a scanning crew aboard.
Scanning the horizon!
Instagram said it's going to start experimenting with long-form content and live creator streams to encourage people to use its television-based apps. They already have apps for the Amazon Fire TV and Google TV platforms. They're rolling out a Samsung TV version right now. Instagram will also be adding channel features, so creators can have a channel, not just a profile on Instagram that'll show up on the TV apps. And you'll get the ability to cast reels to the TV from your phone through the app instead of having to go through the app to find them and play them. So you could do a little, doom scrolling on your TV app. But it's definitely Instagram positioning itself to say, we know TikTok wants to do this, we know Substack wants to do this, and everybody's shooting for YouTube. We want to be in that game.
Yeah. If you were to describe all of these features and not which company it was, I would have thought but enough about YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Instagram, man, are they going to get squished if they're trying to play up against okay, you got YouTube at the top and then you got all the streaming services. Where does Instagram even fit in that ecosystem?
I think that's the problem that I see is all the reporting says Instagram's headed after YouTube. And I'm like, I don't think they are, because YouTube, as you just pointed out, is more properly classed overlapping with Netflix, Disney Plus, etc., because of the high quality of things on there. Not that people couldn't do high quality video on Instagram too, but you're immediately going to reach more people if you do it on YouTube than if you do it on Instagram. But I do think there is a potential new place where people say, well, I just want to watch raw video, like YouTube used to be back in the day.
You know what? They could be kind of trying to take on Atmosphere. Okay, let's take away all of the prestige players and instead, the Chive, Atmosphere, or whatever, they're essentially the free version of that, because Atmosphere you got to pay. Would that be a weird thing, Tom, if you came over and here at HQ, I had a paid subscription for those drone shots or whatever?
Yeah, right. I'd be like, why are you paying for that?
I don't know. It just seemed fun. They're about to do fail vids again.
Yeah. I mean, what you see succeeding on TikTok is people doing things live. Mm-hmm. And usually it's a thing that maybe would get taken down on YouTube.
Oh, you know what? So live stream is one of the last emerging markets.
Yeah.
And first of all, disclosure, says the guy who's made a habit for 230 days straight of going live, because look, every so often I call a trend, and I think this is definitely a real one. In that case, then this absolutely makes sense, is take what you have right now, get it up and functioning, then build out incentives, because you already have a lot of lifestyle streamers, lifestyle people. And of course, this is already huge in China. And so I'd imagine it would translate well here.
Well, and I think although live streams on YouTube are very successful, and there's a lot of them and people do watch them, people do kind of think of YouTube as the place with the immaculately produced video blog. And Instagram might be able to grab some people who are like, oh, there's some cool live streams happening on the Instagram app. They're going to have to show up on Roku and Apple TV though.
Yeah.
That's this is still in the testing stages if they're only on Fire, Google, and Samsung. K-pop Demon Hunters released on June 18th, 2025. So in celebration of the 1-year anniversary, Netflix announced that it spent every week since its release in the top 10 most watched list. 600 million views since its debut, hit the top 10 in all 93 countries where the streamer keeps top 10 lists.
That is very impressive.
Yeah. It implies that people rewatch it a lot, which I can testify to nieces and children of friends that their kids definitely do that.
Yeah, what's funny is at first I felt like I needed to jump in to catch up, and now I don't want to because then it'll be all played out.
Oh, you still have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's
listen
still
to
on-
Dungeon Crawler Carl while you have it on TV.
Okay, you know what? I'll do both at the same time while I'm watching Hamilton.
Yeah, perfect. Fox Creator Studios already has some well-established names. We've talked about it in the past where they're trying to get, everybody's going after YouTube, right? Trying to get some of those creators on the Fox train, not to create a YouTube competitor, but to have them make content for Fox. So they have Gordon Ramsay, Tom Segura, the comedian, is now adding the kind of creators that are more in the YouTube space, like Josh Richards, Amelia Hartford, Speed Company, which multiple E's, Sorted Food, My Healthy Dish, Mad Realities, and Christina Richardson. Those that I mentioned collectively have more than 65 million followers across all their platforms.
That'll make a dent.
Yeah. And finally, Google announced it will sink about $75 million into A24, the prestige film studio. Recent hit from A24, of course, Backrooms, but also Marty Supreme, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is a partnership where Google is investing in A24, and then A24 is going to play around with Google's foundational models to see what kinds of new tools for filmmaking it can make.
So foundational models, we're talking about Gen AI stuff, right?
We're talking about their Gemini stuff, yeah.
Okay, so here's my
VO
very
and all that.
boring conspiracy theory: is this is being pitched as, or to read it just like this. I'm certain that the press release, I suspect, is all about, empower creators, discover new uses.
Well, there is no
and
press
tools.
release. That is an important part. This is Wall Street Journal sources say Google has invested. So Google isn't out there making a big deal about this, but decided, I would guess, somebody should talk to the Wall Street Journal so that it does get out.
Yeah. Well, but here's my point: is just as Apple is trading in its own halo effect, in its own prestige that elevates all of its devices, there's two directions on this. Direction one is A24, a studio that is renowned for wild creativity, gets to use cutting edge, wild creative stuff with the support of Google. So that'll make sense. Probably not in the press release. When the press release comes out, will be, that means there'll be more art revealing to the masses some of the stuff that could not have ever been done before without these tools. Because that is the big thing, as everybody is very tepid in their response to AI. Everybody's seeing it in terms of stuff they've already seen. I think the game changes only after they start seeing things that they've never seen before.
And one of the things you'll note, if we've talked about Matt Damon's company, we've talked about Marty Scorsese even saying, well, some of these tools are useful for storyboarding and stuff, is there are some very compelling demonstrations happening that are convincing people in the film industry, okay, that's not bad. That would help me. I'll use that as long as I don't threaten someone's job. If it's a tool that can help me, and that's kind of the stage we're in. So this A24 deal is kind of the next step along that road of slowly saying, well, in limited cases, very specific tools may be useful. And Google's like, great, let's team up with A24, one of the best filmmaking houses in the world, and help them develop tools that will help them make even better indie films that don't replace anybody, but help indie filmmakers make better films.
Well, the only opinion I care about is noted car insurance salesman Ice-T, who says this may be the last generation of real actors. It says AI is the only sensible way forward. Now, that's not the part that I care about. What I care about is when he caught a bunch of backlash for saying something like that on Twitter, and he got real with everyone. He was like, dude, you want to see a rap video? There's going to be AI in it. You think the budget is there anymore? You think the labels are writing multi-million-dollar checks? No. If you want moving pictures to go with music you love and empowered creators, it's going to be AI. So he meant it. He was not being defeatist or scared. He was just like, get over it.
Yeah, and that Benzinga headline is where my own "oh please" came from, because what he's saying is actually more nuanced and sensible, and I like that.
Yeah, it's not personal; it's business.
Let's move on to the chatter.
You got mail.
A lot of folks really enjoyed our trip through Magnum PI meets Murder, She Wrote land. Big Jim sent us some clips of the Magnum PI homages that appeared in the TV show Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was unaware of any of those. Number one, I had totally forgotten when we were talking about his post-Magnum PI career that Tom Selleck was on Las Vegas, and I did not know at all that they kept finding excuses for him to be standing next to the actors of Rick and TC.
Yeah, that's cool. Joe wrote, "Hey, I enjoyed the conversation you guys had on the show regarding Fox's acquisition of Roku. I don't understand how this won't set up huge monopoly alarm bells, if not in the US, then overseas. When people argue that Apple have a monopoly on iOS App Store distribution, the example they give is Spotify needing to give Apple a cut of subscription revenue for in-app purchases, while Apple Music does not have to give anyone a cut. Well, now you'll have the same issue on Roku, where anyone offering a subscription purchase on Roku will have to give Fox a cut, but Fox obviously won't have to give anyone a cut. Same goes for the Roku ad framework and the revenue distribution that takes place there. Fox will now get a cut of everyone's ad revenue on Roku, but obviously won't have to give anyone else a cut. I don't understand how this won't be an enormous problem for regulators internationally. I say internationally because I don't think there's any desire to regulate anyone anymore in the United States of America."
Tom, it's the weirdest thing. Normally, emails don't come in packaging, but this one definitely came in a brown paper package with handwritten, it said, "Fresh meat for Tom Merritt." And so I brought it immediately to you.
Yeah. So, first of all, Joe, I think there's probably more regulation appetite than you might think in the United States. But it's fair to say that the regulation does tend to come from overseas for us first. Second is, if there is a monopoly problem for Roku under Fox, there is a monopoly problem for Roku right now.
Yeah.
Because Fox buying it does not increase its market share of the platform, and Roku provides its own original content on the platform that it takes a cut of, but no one else has to pay for. The reason this will be different is because you have multiple platforms. You have, in the world of iOS and Android. And so the courts have been able to say, well, in the marketplace for operating systems, Apple could be considered its own market because there are only two, Android and iOS, and they don't tend to exchange people as much or whatever. Courts have been able to say, like, it's a limited playing field. Mm-hmm. Also, it's not that Apple runs an app store that's at issue. It's that Apple doesn't let Spotify link out to other ways to pay. So in other words, Apple says, Spotify, you can only be in our app store. And if you're in our app store, you can only use our payment system. Roku doesn't have that stringent of a requirement. So really, I don't think it's going to become an issue. But also, you've got Roku, you've got Fire TV, you've got Apple TV, you've got Google TV, you've got many other competitors in the space. So it's not about monopoly. It's about abuse of market position. I think it'd be too tall of an order at this point anyway to prove that Roku was abusing its position in the market. And again, when Fox buys them, they just have access to more content, but it doesn't actually increase their position in the market.
Yeah. Well put, Tom. I barely could have said it better myself.
That was delicious. Thank you. Matt Bett sent us a supercut of people seeing stuff for the first time. One of them was The Sixth Sense. Matt Bett wrote, "One of the joys of being older is watching someone experience something for the first time, reminiscing on your feelings as they realize the implications of the revelation right in front of their eyes. So much so that there is a whole genre of videos. Person reacts for the first time to insert piece of art you have loved for a long time. Few people are not spoiled by the Darth Vader reveal, but there is still a chance that kids don't know. I had an opportunity to show my 11-year-old son The Sixth Sense for the first time, and it did not disappoint. The movie is a lot slower than I remember, but that pace just adds to the resolution. This was M. Night's magnum opus, and it happened to be his first movie." And then he sent us the link to the compilation of all these people watching The Sixth Sense, and at a key moment that I won't spoil for you, how they react to that moment.
Yeah. Tom saw it and he just leaned over. He said, Brian, Santa Claus isn't real. And I said, no, these are real reactions. She's crying. And he says, because that's so hard to do. Okay.
Yeah, it is my jaded sensibility that when I see these react videos, because they're not just for spoilers in movies, they're also for like that band you love that no one else has heard about, and then someone discovers them and is like, oh my gosh, they're also amazing. They are designed to make you feel good. I'm not saying they're all faked, but some of them might be.
Yeah.
Finally, Ryan writes, listening to the two of you realize how little Cabot Cove had been present in your full experience of Murder, She Wrote made me wonder if maybe we're on a brave new frontier of pushing the limits of the experiment. Is there a series that one of you has seen completely, but the other has maybe only seen the first episode of? Why not have that person alone do the full experience with the series, and we can see just how well it actually holds up in the cocktail party scenario?
Yeah, although with the two of us talking, that's going to be a bit more than casual cocktail party talk, but that sounds like a good after talk segment.
I like exploring that idea of like, are there shows that you've seen entirely but I never have, or vice versa, and then we do a full experience where the person who's never seen it watches just the 4 episodes, and then we have a conversation like, okay, can you pass?
Oh my gosh. I just thought of one, and it may actually be a pitch for a full experience.
All right.
Did you ever see Cowboy Bebop?
The anime?
Yeah.
No, I only saw the live action.
Oh.
But that means I saw the first season story.
Yeah, well, I think there's only one season.
Oh, well, that means I saw the entire story.
Or well, I don't know if it tracks one for one. Anyway, or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, that one would work.
That one would be
This
great.
direction.
That would be great.
Yeah, there's got to be some that I've seen that you haven't.
I would love to do the full experience of that. Oh, what have I done?
Strange New Worlds.
Yep, I was thinking of that
But
too.
that's not.
Yep.
That one's not done yet.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, folks, our website is cordkillers.com. If you want to find us, our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. We are live at twitch.tv/nightattack and youtube.com/modernrogue on Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.